Shyness and fear will end forever. There was a time in my life when shyness and fear controlled every aspect of who I was. I remember the first time I was asked to stand up in front of a group of people. My heart raced, my palms were sweaty, and my mind went blank. I could feel the weight of every pair of eyes on me, and all I wanted to do was run and hide. But that moment became the turning point, the beginning of a journey that would eventually teach me that shyness and fear don't have to define me. As a child, I was always the quiet one. I never raised my hand in class unless I was sure the answer was correct. I preferred to observe rather than participate, comfortable in the shadows where I couldn't be seen or judged. There was a deep fear inside me that if I spoke up or made a mistake, people would laugh at me or think less of me. That fear grew as I got older, becoming a barrier to my personal growth. I watched others speak with confidence, take risks, and face challenges head-on while I remained stuck in my comfort zone, paralyzed by self-doubt. Then one day, something changed. I don't remember the exact moment when I decided that enough was enough, but I know it had to do with my longing for a life where I wasn't always held back by fear. I wanted to be the kind of person who could walk into a room without feeling like I was about to crumble under the pressure of judgment. I wanted to speak up without my voice trembling or my knees shaking. I started small. I would speak to a stranger in the grocery store or offer a comment in class. At first, these small steps were terrifying, but I slowly realized something important. People were not as focused on me as I thought they were. They were living their own lives, concerned with their own thoughts and worries. This realization began to chip away at the massive wall of fear I had built around myself. But the real breakthrough came when I took a leap of faith and signed up for a public speaking course. The thought of standing in front of a crowd still made my stomach turn, but I knew this was the challenge I had to face if I ever wanted to overcome my fears. I remember the first time I stood up to speak. My hands were clammy, my voice quivered, and my mind was a storm of self-doubt. But something miraculous happened. The more I practiced, the less terrifying it became. The audience wasn't judging me, they were rooting for me. They wanted to see me succeed, just as I wanted to see myself succeed. Each time I stood in front of an audience, the fear became a little smaller, the shyness a little less intense. I began to realize that the fear I had been carrying around for so long wasn't something to be afraid of, it was something to be understood. Fear, I discovered, was just a feeling. It wasn't a reflection of who I was or my potential. It didn't define me unless I allowed it to. One of the most powerful lessons I learned was the importance of self-compassion. For years, I had been my own harshest critic, convinced that I wasn't good enough or capable enough to face the world. But I began to shift my mindset. Instead of criticizing myself for every misstep, I started celebrating my progress, no matter how small. I learned to embrace the discomfort, because it was through that discomfort that I was growing. It wasn't just public speaking that helped me grow. It was also about challenging myself in other areas of my life. I started taking risks in my personal and professional life, even if they scared me. I applied for jobs that seemed out of my reach, pushed myself to try new activities, and began to assert myself in conversations. Each time I faced a new fear, I felt a little bit stronger, a little bit braver. Over time, I began to realize that shyness and fear weren't things that I had to live with forever. They were feelings, not facts. They were not permanent conditions, but temporary obstacles that could be overcome with effort, patience, and self-belief. The more I faced my fears, the less control they had over me. I wasn't fearless, but I was no longer paralyzed by fear. I had learned that it was okay to feel fear, but it was also okay to move forward despite it. Now, I stand before you as someone who has learned to embrace the very thing that once held me back. I still feel the pangs of fear from time to time, but I don't let it control me anymore. I know that I am capable of overcoming it, just as I have done countless times before. I am no longer afraid of being judged or making mistakes, because I understand that they are part of the journey. They do not define who I am, and they do not define my worth. Looking back, I can't help but feel proud of the person I've become. The shy, fearful version of myself would never have imagined that I could be the confident, outgoing person I am today. And that's the message I want to share with you. Shyness and fear don't have to be permanent parts of your identity. You have the power to change, to grow, and to face the world with confidence. If you're reading this and you're still trapped in the grip of fear or shyness, I want you to know that it's okay. You're not alone, and you don't have to stay where you are. Start small, take one step at a time, and be kind to yourself along the way. The fear will never fully disappear, but with each step, it will lose its power. You have within you the strength to face anything that comes your way, and the life you dream of is waiting for you on the other side of fear. Don't let shyness or fear hold you back any longer. It's time to step into the light and live the life you deserve. Shyness and fear will end forever, but only if you choose to face them head on. You are stronger than you think, and the only thing standing between you and the person you're meant to be is the fear you allow to hold you back. So take a deep breath, take that first step, and trust that you have everything it takes to succeed.